Hi, Mauricia. It's so nice to see you and take the opportunity to sit down and just have you tell me a little about your amazing story. So go for it.
Hi, Royal. Good to see you too. Well, I'll just be really brief. 10 months old, my mother went to my crib and I couldn't move my right leg. My right knee was swollen the size of a grapefruit. And they took me to Children's Hospital, where they didn't really know what to do in Seattle, and they sent us to the Mayo Clinic. At that point, they cut my right knee open and told my parents I would never walk.
Oh my goodness.
My parents were really, you can imagine, pretty distraught. So fast forward to age 4, 5, 6, and my knee would swell up like a basketball at this point. And back in the mid 50s, they really didn't know what to do. So they put me in a cast every summer from my ankles to my hips to contain the swelling. And as a result, it affected my ability to walk. And so then when I was out of the cast, they put me into braces. And you can imagine going to elementary school, being teased, and it was not a good time in my life. And not only was it aesthetically displeasing, but it was self-esteem was, I was distraught and in tons of pain. And the doctor would put me on baby aspirin. They told my parents to give me as many baby aspirin as they could until my ears started ringing. All right, so let's fast forward to about age 19, 20, when I realized that I had to be an advocate for myself, because I was diagnosed with JRA, which turned into rheumatoid arthritis as a young teenager, and I realized that I had to do something. So I became an advocate for myself, and I would just change my diet. I would do research on supplements. I took everything I could possibly think of, Royal. I just hated the medicine they gave me. It made my stomach hurt. It blew my face up like a balloon, and it was awful. And I did reflexology and homeopathy and acupuncture and even osteopathy. And I mean, you name it, I was doing it. I was probably spending thousands of dollars on nutritionals that helped just a little bit, but nothing made a difference. And you can imagine someone like myself who's just fighting for every moment of just freedom from pain. It was horrible. And I was doing high-level impact aerobics, just kind of teasing myself, thinking that I could do those things. Well, then my hip started going out, and I needed a hip replacement at a very early age. And then I realized that my body was on the fast track to destruction, and they put me on a new drug that was an injectable that actually later on, after being on it for 8 years, caused me to have breast cancer and also medicinal lupus.
Along with lupus?
Oh yeah, lupus. And then also years of prednisone to control the arthritis caused me to have very low bone density. And on top of that, it just affected my kidneys and my liver and everything. So you can imagine how frustrating it is. In fact, my blood work was so low that when I was in my early 20s, they had to do a biopsy on my spine, and only to realize that they weren't going to be able to do anything about it. So fortunately, after several surgeries, I have a friend who got involved with a company, and the company, actually his name is Pharmanex, the chief scientist, what intrigued me was the chief scientist had immunology and rheumatology background, and that really intrigued me. And they came out with a supplement that actually was for mental clarity and other things, of course, but for me, living with pain all my life, I had no mental clarity. Anytime I needed to remember anything, I simply had to write it down. My mind, I just was in so much pain that I couldn't focus, couldn't concentrate. And so that really appealed to me. And it was like the stars were aligning, if you will, because if I had been on this injectable drug at the time, I wouldn't have been able to take this particular supplement because it is a cellular supplement. But having had a back fusion that failed and all the hardware had to come out, I wasn't able to be on any drugs. And so it was like...
So you were in constant pain then?
Oh my gosh.
Because I remember when I met you, you were literally crawling upstairs to... I remember you went to you know.
I was going to just tell you.
Oh,
that.
sorry.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's okay. The day that my friend brought that over, it was a Sunday. I'll never forget. It was a Sunday, and my knee, it was in the summertime, and the temperature was in the mid-70s, and my knee was starting up again, very swollen, and I have 17 stairs in my house, and I had to go upstairs, and I really, honestly, had to get on my bottom and go up the stairs that way, and come down the same way. And she brought that supplement over to me. And what happened over the next couple weeks was that I actually was able to go up and down my stairs. And the proof was in the pudding, because for years I'd been having blood tests from my rheumatologist, and my blood work was so scary that I would just cry. I mean, sheer frustration, because there's nothing you can do at this point. But 2 weeks after I started this supplement, my blood work, my rheumatologist had taken 7 vials of blood, which is the normal routine for me, and he actually noticed that there was an improvement, a slight improvement, and I was starting to feel actually better. The pain in my knees was subsiding, my ankles, my wrists, my neck.
So what was the name of it that you were, what was it you were taking?
It was Age Lock Vitality. And
Age Lock
Vitality, and I actually took it for mental clarity. I had no preconceived notions that it was going to do anything for me, because nothing had, and I did everything else.
So I have another question. Now there was something else you did too. There was something that you had done. It was another product?
Oh yes, I also had started the Life Pack Nano with the Marine Omega, because one of the things that happens with rheumatoid in particular is that you have a lot of inflammation, and this particular supplement, I had actually, if you want to know the truth, well, I actually had an opportunity to talk to the scientist, Dr. Chang, who created these products, because he was willing to talk to me because of my story. And he,
now, didn't you say to me one time that you had you're actually in a record, or in a
well, yeah, I forgot to tell you that part. Yes, there's so much. I could write a book. I think someday I should. But when I was about 13, 14, a physician from England, a rheumatologist, was here at the University of Washington in Seattle, and found my name in a database, and called me in to do a lot of testing. And of course, you know, when you're a teenager, and the last thing you want to do is go to the hospital and have them poke and prod you and do everything. And I honestly don't know what happened with all that, because he never contacted me. I don't know what he did with that research. I just know he probably rolled his eyes, because my blood work was pretty scary, even at age 14.
Now you are doing what? What does your day look like? What does your life look like?
Oh my gosh, Royal!
What a terrible story.
I feel like for the first time in my life, I feel like a kid in a candy store. I wake up every morning and I literally jump out of bed, throw on my clothes, and go to the gym and spend 2 hours working out.
Oh my gosh!
I
now,
feel
do you
amazing.
Have pain?
I have no pain at all. I have no swelling.
That's hard to believe. I mean, these people are not going to believe that.
Well, here's the deal. This is my 2nd anniversary of no rheumatologist, for the first time in my life.
Wow.
And I feel like I've been given my life back. I know that sounds kind of quirky, but unless you've walked in my shoes and my path, you have no clue what it's been like. And for me, I only see a doctor once a year for a physical now. I don't even get sick. Just to give you a clue, the difference, Royal, I used to, be a teacher, and I'd get a paper cut, and immediately the next day I would have an infection.
Oh my gosh.
And I haven't been on antibiotics except when I go to the dentist, because I have a prosthetic, except for that for the past 4 years.
So what do you think people should know about what you're doing now that's so important?
I think what people need to understand is that there's a place for Western medicine, but there's also an important part of that you do your own research and be an advocate for your health, and do everything you possibly can to avoid taking medicine. I would have given my right arm if I had had this opportunity with the supplement as a young person. I wouldn't have had breast cancer. I wouldn't have had 4 hip replacements on one side. I wouldn't have had multiple back and neck surgeries. I would be a very different person right now. But I have to say, I feel like a new person.
You look like a new person. You look so much better than when I first met you. I'm so happy.
I have energy,
for you to be
and
my friend.
I don't have pain. I don't have pain.
And that you have no pain. That's awesome. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It's
My
very
pleasure.
touching. Thank you.